Leafs talk, JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. The only people or the only person that's happy tonight is Austin Matthews because the record without him doesn't get worse. Leafs have a dog effort and get crunched by the New York Islanders, the lowly New York Islanders. Well, I don't even know where to start with this one. Buddy.
So let's compare bad teams because we watched the Buffalo Sabres, who are out and out awful last night.
That's the worst team you'll ever see.
And they lost again tonight in really, really, really epic fashion with a guy pushing one of their own guys pushing a Boston Bruin into his goalie, and then they shot into the empty net with like 13 seconds left, I think. So that's how they lost their 13th in a row.
Good stuff.
But if you combined the New York Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres, I think you'd have a really great team because it's like the Isles are all veteran leadership. That's all they are. It's just like veteran leadership guys. It's like Horvat and, Anders Lee and who else you got on there? You got Pulick and all these different guys that they have on there. Brock Nelson, potential Leafs target. Like they had a lot of just veteran leadery guys. And tonight they look like a veteran hockey team. And the Leafs look dog tired. And that's not an excuse. It's a professional league. They had nothing to give. They went down too early and folded up shop, in my opinion. They got a couple in the late, a couple goals here and there. The end of the game, clearly they had they got to have the 6-on-5, have the puck a bunch. But ultimately, that was just a really ugly one for me. Really ugly.
Yeah, this is where we're at with this game. Is we're starting with like, hey, should we combine the Sabres and Niles?
Yeah,
that's how ugly this game was. Yeah. How few talking points are. I'm with you. I think that they showed up. The Morgan Rielly pairing with Connor Timmins turns out to be exactly what people fear, which is
bottom pair.
Yeah, like you said it, the bottom pair. They give up 2 early. Leafs fall down 2-0. And I thought Nylander was buzzing for a little while, actually gave them hope, scored a pair tonight, really wanted the hat trick with the empty net pulled. You could tell like he was.
He was firing it from everywhere.
Oh, he wanted it, baby. He wanted it. But this is just like it when you're playing the back-to-back. I guess, you know what? I'll start with this. When you want to see like the differences with the coaching staff and the differences with the teams, it's like, okay, you're on a back-to-back, you're a low event hockey team. Start on time. Like they don't start on time, and you don't have Matthews in the lineup. You're on a back-to-back. Be defensively responsible to start this hockey game. And so for 2 to be in the back of your net on the first 4 shots.
Yeah. Like it's not a good start.
It's like that to me is the troubling thing in this game is that this team is, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I've got it in a notebook. I keep jotting down exactly how many games that they've started in the last 10 where they give up the first goal. It's a lot, right? Like they do this. This has been a theme with this team. And you would have thought that you were going to give your best punch early, and they gave their worst punch early. And then, yeah, man, this is what happens if you're in a back-to-back and you're shorthanded. You're going to get your eyes pumped shut by a hungry team on a Saturday night that's in your barn who loves to play like everybody else in Toronto. You got to start on time. And like, this is just not good enough. Like not good enough.
I thought early in the season that trend was kind of gone. And that was like a talking point that we did a lot on this show was that one of the calling cards of Keefe Leaf teams was that they started slow and they really had trouble with that. And you remember early in the season, they were jumping all over teams in their wins. Like we think back to that Tampa game, you think back to that Jets game, you think back to some of those games earlier in the season where they're just like, oh, even the second game of the season where they went down to Sheldon Keefe in New Jersey and scored 3 in the first. They're pumping them up. Like it really was a calling card early. And I think it's just, once you start to get into the rigors of a long season and during your busiest stretch, I think you kind of start to, your old habits die hard where you have these lazy starts and you think that you have enough skill where you can kind of skill your way out of it. And they got away with it against the Buffalo Sabres. They had an okay start last night, but I mean, you can't really count that.
Sure.
But it happens last week too against the Buffalo Sabres. Yep. It's starting to kind of pop up here. And I think it just comes down to them, not a message running dry. Clearly the coach has only been here for like half a season. I'm not like panicking about that, but it's just, I think it's a lot of hockey. These guys are just playing like every other night, it feels like. And I'm not making an excuse. I just think that like they're just a lot of tired brain and they can't really get the message through right now. It feels like the team that's not getting the message through.
No, but here's the thing. So I had Rick Bonus on my show on Thursday.
Yeah.
And good reco by you. Get the guy who's coached the most games in NHL history.
One of the sweetest sweethearts too.
Truly great guy. Like genuinely enjoyed talking to him. It's up there on my podcast feed.
Yeah.
But I was asking about that. Like, hey, when do you start to get a little concerned? How long does it take for you to kind of get the system and drill it down? And he mentioned that this is kind of the thing that happens, and that unfortunately for Leaf fans, and you're not really going to want to hear this, but he was like, with the Jets, he didn't feel like they started to really dig into the system and truly adopt it until year 2 because of those habits. And he said it, like, it's hard. Guys mix up the coverages. They forget what it is that they're doing. And part of the thing about shuffling these deep pairings too is that guys are going to start to forget their responsibilities. I will say that the one where McCabe pinches is like, I get that you're trying to be aggressive and that's part of McCabe's game, but that one is a little bit of just a overly aggressive pinch. It's probably the thing about McCabe's game that you like the least. You and I loved.
He's bad one against Dallas too, that ended up with a goal with Matthews in the back of Sam Steele as well.
Yeah, he's the originator of us using like 2 horned up because that's him. Like he's the king of getting horned up, the OG of getting horned up.
And really, there's a few guys. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but on the blue line, in terms of him,
that's just quite a statement. The king getting horned up. There's a few other guys.
Yeah, fine. I just mean that like this was our thing last year with him, where it was like either trying to get too much of a hit or too much retribution or too much on a pinch. He did it again tonight, but I was thinking about it where it's like, this is kind of the thing and why people keep talking about searching for Morgan Rielly's partner. And I'll say it again. I've said it over and over and over again. I get that he's playing with Connor Timmins there, and Connor Timmins is no peach in terms of a partner. And I don't think that it's a good fit. And I do think that all it is this coach saying it's going to be somebody else, right? Like this is going to be somebody else. It's the same reason why they didn't mix up the lines to start this game, because Berube decided to start it with what it's going to look like for him when guys return or the lineup is right. He kept the pairings that he felt like are his forever pairings together. But it's like, Morgan Rielly, can you just have a game where you elevate the guy? Can you have one night where for 7.5 sheets, you're the one that's kind of giving them a bit of a punch for a team that, again, I'm pretty sure the stat still holds true, that they're the only team in hockey without a goal from a defenseman in the third period in the NHL. They're one of the lowest scoring teams from their back end in the NHL.
For sure.
And I don't want to see, no, I'm pretty sure the third period goal thing
crazy.
Is still true too. Like, unless I'm missing one from like, cause that's a recent stat. I put that out there on Monday. Okay. They've only had the Sabres, Stars and this game since then. So which one did they get a defenseman scoring in the third period? None.
Zero.
So it's like, this guy, you got to start doing something, man. You got to just start doing something other than being a liability.
Yeah. Like he's entered, and rightfully so, he's entered the crosshairs of Leafs Nation here.
Yeah, he is.
Like it's
you can start to see the worm turn on social. Like I open up, you know me, I don't spend like any time on Twitter during the games. And I just take a quick little peek every once in a while. It's like, hey, what's going on here? It's like
even in the group chats, even in the group chats.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's definitely it's a bit of a sore spot for it. And you know what I'll say, he gets a pass here too. Like in this city, like he has been getting a pass for a long time in terms of like a real referendum on his game. Like there's a certain faction of Leafs Nation that really is hard on him. But I do think, like, as sort of the quote unquote #1 defenseman on this team, highest paid defenseman on the team, and for some of his regular season stuff that he's had over the past few years, I don't think he gets it that bad. But, you know, with a lack of a Timothy Liljegren, with the lack of a Justin Hall, with the lack of a Jake Gardiner, with the lack, like, being the highest paid guy on the D-core and having probably, like, I mean, he has definitely the worst plus minus. What was he tonight? Is he -3, -2 tonight? I'm just quickly pulling it up here.
He started -2.
He finished -2. So like he's continued to solidify his Masters lead here on the Leafs in terms of plus minus. Like this is just going to continue to build for him. And like he's had issues before. He can dig out of them. We know the playoff stuff. Like we know how good he can be in the playoffs. but this is not going away, this conversation.
Yeah.
And
also, though, like your
okay.
regular season play should be accountable too. Like,
Of
I know we've done that
course.
many times, but it's like
Of course.
these guys are trying to win the Atlantic Division this year. That's in everybody's sights. And there's certain things like, I've seen a lot of Leaf fans go like, just rest Matthews until the playoffs, like, like do complete load management, whatever, right? Like
LTIR.
Well, it's just like, yeah, people just want to seem healthy come playoff time, which I totally understand because that's where it matters. But I do think that part of convincing people that they are different is going to be breaking some of these habits and showing some things in the regular season that look different than last year. And also trying to win the Atlantic Division and not being in a first round playoff matchup against the Boston Bruins or the Tampa Bay Lightning, where those teams just have played you so many times. It's like, so I was watching the football game today, right? And they're asking Mike Tomlin, but one of the Steelers game. They asked Mike
football games.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was a stupid thing to say. But they asked Mike Tomlin, like, why do you have so much success against Lamar Jackson? He's like, because I've gotten to game plan against him twice a year since he's been in the NFL. Yeah. And the same thing applies to Leafs in the first round against the Bruins and against the Lightning. It's like, okay, cool. You might be better than them this year. You might be favored against them this year, but we've seen it time and time again. Like, it's going to be a coin toss. Yeah. Remove yourself from the coin toss, give yourself a better bracket, and you need Morgan Rielly to do it. So I have two quick Rielly thoughts. I know I'm going on
Let her rip.
One is just like, so I agree with you about the shelter thing, because when he came into the league, he always had Jake Gardiner, and Jake Gardiner was like the whipping boy who took all the smoke.
What's worse than a whip? He was the bazooka boy. God, he took it, man.
Never forget. Yeah, I don't think anyone ever got it worse than him after that Bruins game, because I looked at like his social media and
no, it was horrendous.
Do you remember him in the dressing room when they
with that big old head just sitting there,
dark, man,
like staring daggers through the wall? Yeah, it was not pretty.
He always has 100-yard stare. That one was like he could see around the earth.
Freddie Anderson owes him $10 million for taking that. Like, so was letting him beer leaguers that whole third period, and Jake Gardiner took the brunt of it. Anyways, continue.
Right. Anyway, I know I taking personal shots at me inside. It's hard to debate. Going back, just bringing up old wounds between you and I outside. It's that kind of you wearing the jolly old
Christmas season, baby.
Not a lot of jolliness coming from you right now. After me, thinking about that, how many times in the group chats I get heated up, just get mad. The boys coming at Freddie Anderson. But so it was that, and I used to watch the two play and go, that like the gap control between these two guys, and like the defensive play between these two guys, like Rielly's worse, and whatever. That passes, and then it's kind of like the same thing over and over again, where it's like there was a little window there where people were looking at it and going like, wait, is he really bad defensively? It's like, okay, yeah, little tiny touch, but then you're right. There's always been somebody else, and he's had the playoff moments. He has the heart. He's someone where people love that he wears a letter because he'll step up in those moments. But ultimately, like the body of work in general, like throughout regular seasons, has not been overly spectacular. And this is the last thing I'll say on it, and I'll throw it over to you with a question. Yeah. I thought if he hit free agency today, what's he getting?
Probably like around what he gets. Everybody gets like free agency. It's a hard question. Like, what is he worth versus what somebody actually pays him? Because like,
I guess that's fair, but okay. What
like
would you...
guys get blown out of the water with these contract offers on, like, think about some of the stuff that gets handed out. So it's a different
7.5 next year is going to look even better, right? Yeah. Like it's going to be more palatable, but I'm
getting
just
better
saying,
and better every year.
Right now on this cap, let's change it then. If you're taking out the like variable of what a team would play him and someone ends up, going nuts on a contract. If you were the GM, like of this team this year, and you got to remodel the salary cap, like you get in a time machine, you get to start it, and he's a free agent, and you know what you know now. Like, what are you offering him to be on this Leafs team? Because it's not the number that he's playing at right now. Straight up.
I think it's between 5.5 and 6.
That's where I'm at with it too. I had 5.5 is what I wrote down.
Yeah, probably $2 million or $1.5 million less. Like, he's just not giving you the value on that contract. He's really not.
So here's part two.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you lost Morgan Rielly or you lost OEL, would you really feel all that different?
No, that's a good question. Like, you mean, I think
in terms of like, if you were like, okay, Leafs are gonna like most important guys. He's clearly not one of the two. It's McCabe and Tanev, 1-2, no question.
Yeah.
So who's the third most important defenseman on the team? I don't think that's an outrageous question, straight up. Like, I don't. I think that OEL has played better throughout the regular season than Morgan Rielly has.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess you'd have to go with. I think you'd have to go with him. I think you have to go with Oliver Ekman-Larsson, then and then you're going to give Rielly the nod ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to put like Timmins had a good start to the season, but if Timmins gets lost, I don't care. Like when Myers steps in and Timmins is in, it's no different.
Yeah. So no, I agree. I think it's, if you're ranking him, he's the fourth most important right now, and that's not where you want your highest paid guy to be. So, I mean, is he going to find it?
Like, just ask you a question. We're still being kind of generous with the 5.5 because OEL makes 3.5.
Yeah, for sure. But do you believe like he's going to find it here?
Yes, because I think that eventually they're going to get him a partner, and then we're going to do this whole. It's just like, again, time is a flat circle with this team. We're watching them just be like slow starters. We're watching one of the stars be able to line up, and then a couple of the other guys pick up their games. Like it's just like it's all the same stuff, really. Like
it just feels like it's
to be done.
It feels a little worse this year, though, for sure, than it has in years past.
No, dude, a couple of years ago, remember he did the company with pizza, or he did the thing with Pizzaville. I had that meme in my phone. I was firing that out like every second day.
I'm trying to like, well, just looking back at his years here, like his plus minus. Like, I mean, I know plus minus, people hate plus minus or whatever. I guess
no, but around this time, the last
2 years ago, 2022, 2023, he finished a -9.
Yeah.
So that was maybe the season you were talking about. But last year was a +7 or whatever.
But 2 years ago, the year before he got Shen, people were caving him in before the Christmas break.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Like right like this, just like right now.
So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. You just keep running them out there and hope it gets better.
Well, yeah,
that's the only thing. That's
you got no choice.
That's it.
Anyway, all right. That's enough on that.
Well, no, but like people have always talked about, and they love to draw parallels between Toronto sports teams. And like the thing that people love to say, and I think you've probably said this take, maybe you've said this take, maybe I'm just stealing it from you or whatever, but I'll just do it instead. Could be you, could be somebody else. But the Kawhi trade, and everyone's like, it's Marner, it's Nylander, it's whatever. It's not those. It's Rielly. Rielly is like the one that like you trade him, and that's like the one that really shakes things up. That's like maybe actually part of the problem, and maybe I'm wrong, but was it you that said that?
Yeah. And and not only have I said this, it's just like, dude,
I hear a lot of sports takes every day. I'm sorry.
I'm not upset. This is good. It's good that you remember it. I'm just saying, like, I had that take, and then he turned his game around. So the fact that we've broken this out, it might be like Sidney Crosby, where he was in the slump and he said to the reporter the other night, what took you so long?
Yeah.
Morgan Rielly's been waiting for this. Like, fire that take out and put it out there and watch him turn around. Yeah, I guess it's a weird one for me because it's like, you're right. I do feel more concerned, and yet I'm just clinging on to the past of like,
that's all you do ever. Whenever you talk about Rielly every year, you cling on to the one year. It's like, oh, he's great in the playoffs. It's like, yeah,
but he's older.
He was great against the Tampa that one year. They lose in the first round every year.
Yeah,
he's Clark Gillies out there. He's Clark Gillies. Like, you know. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway,
let's move on. It's getting dark.
I know it is. It's getting too dark. It's getting too dark. You want to do some positives? Mix it up.
I do. David Kampf.
Yeah, I got two. I got 64 at the top, ahead of Nylander. Nylander scores twice. Beauties. We're like, who cares? Kampf.
This is
pass Kampf made on that one goal was outrageously good.
And I love the decision by Berube to keep the two lines that have been good together, and they're clearly not good tonight. Like the third line we can get to in a bit, but like RIP third line last Sunday till right now. Done. Like what a life it was. It's like the same length as a fly. Great life. Anyways, but I will say that Kampf from the start, and you know, there's been a ton of conversation from Leafs Nation about like, oh, you know, you're gonna send down Minton and like, you know, Kampf, and no, he never doesn't score or whatever. He's an adult. He's a grown man. Like he just big, tall, rangy, can skate, like not the most offensively skilled, clearly, but good defensively, good reads, can step up here into a pinch, played well tonight, rangy, physical. He's an important player for this team. Like he can go up and down like this. If you need him, go to third line, kills penalties. And he's a good playoff type player. And I thought he was excellent tonight. Good for him to kind of reward the coach's decision to put him up there. I thought he was honestly one of the only guys with any legs.
I thought it was Nylander and him that were like the only two guys.
And maybe it's because he hasn't played at all and he was off for so long. So maybe he's buzzing a little bit more than these guys, but I thought he was awesome and had jump. So kudos to Kampf, and good decision by Berube to put him as the first line center, I thought.
Yeah, I thought Nyes was solid tonight. Like, didn't have any problems really with his game. Marner was kind of doing his thing, like as always. Like, it
doesn't have any bad ones.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Marner didn't have a bad game by any stretch. It was just like, the guys that were a part of the third line was like,
oh boy,
look mighty soft this evening, fellas.
Like, rested on Horvat out there, like bing. You're like, oh crap, they've been playing against the Sabres,
not the Sabres. Damn it! Not another team that's gonna not forecheck or was willing to play shitty with us. Damn, that sucked. Anyway, I thought Kampf was good. I thought he was solid. All the things that you just said, kind of perfect. I really love that play, and it did get me kind of thinking, like, oh yeah, we are pretty hard on this guy, and now I got to eat crow on Monday.
I'm not hard on him. I like him. I've liked him forever.
I'm not really super hard on him. I would say that I've just been way more like very much in the my camp is immediately trade to clear the space, because what he's given you above replacement is just not worth the difference in cap. And I think that will be the case next year. Like, I think that you're trying to move off of him for sure. But for this season, it's like, if he ends up being this team's fourth line center, they're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, it's a great spot to be. It really is.
Yeah. It's like he's a really good fourth line center. He's just paid a little bit. He got paid a little bit too much because the Leafs got desperate for centers. Yeah, when Ryan O'Reilly walked out the door.
When he turned his back, like, he's like, I don't like the media.
Like I said, man, Ryan O'Reilly, like I'm sure that his teammates, every time that they lose a game every night, when he gets on the bus and he's like, guys, want to hear a song?
How about Wonderwall?
I was like, he's just enjoying losing games and going down to.
They got a big win today over the Kings.
Yeah,
big win over the Kings.
Yeah, good for them. Yeah, so every night, Kid Rock's.
Would they finish? Yeah, last place.
Yeah. Oh, wow, Sturgill Simpson's in town. I love living here. That's cool. Anyway, Kampf, good game. Nylander, good game too. Yeah. Like, you just he's buzzing.
That goal was, it gave me. I sent a tweet out, but I reminded me of a fellow countryman for this guy. That was Matt's-esque.
Yeah, it was.
Across grain, backhand, top corner. Beautiful. Not many guys in the league doing this. Holds it off, cross body against one of the best goalies in the world. Beautiful, beautiful shot, backhand. I love, I'm a big fan of a backhand goal, and that was a really, really nice one. He was buzzing. So was he tied for the league leading goals now? There.
He made me think about something in this too, which is like, with Matthews out, we're always trying to do like the theories, and everyone always says like the other guys get their chance to step up. But I do think like Nylander really likes being the man, right?
Oh yeah.
And when Matthews is out and he does get that extra ice time, like there's a reason they leave him out there for the full power play, even though it hasn't worked all season long, right? Like, he wants his chances. Has he scored once as the extra forward on the power play?
It's a question I don't know the answer to, but anecdotally, no
shot. Like, no shot.
Narrative wise, zero chance.
0% chance that he scored one.
He scored some power play goals for sure, but like on the first unit, no question.
But never that when it's like, hey, if anything, I think like he's just turned pucks over and killed the second unit because he's tired.
He has 7 power play goals. He has to have 1 on the second minute.
I don't think he does, man. I don't think he does. Yeah, he's like a little kid who won't go to bed, where they're like falling asleep and they're like, I'm not tired. It's like, go to bed. You got to go to bed. You're tired. You're falling asleep on the couch. You're falling asleep at the kitchen table. You got to go to bed. The other's like, no, I won't go to bed. I won't do it. But yeah, that goal was nasty. And I do think that if you're looking at positives, it's like, I would expect that his run of excellent play is going to continue. And so is Marner's with Matthews out.
I think, it's funny to the Nylander conversation, because we were so scared last year when he got paid at the absolute peak of his powers.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had like 4 bad games, and I had a bunch of bad takes about it. And then like since then, he's been one of the top 10, top 15 guys in the league since then. And he's getting paid. He's like, you have to play like this when you're getting paid that money, but he has been unbelievable pretty much after those games against, I don't know who it was, but there's like 3 or 4 games there where I was having a field day with those takes, I remember. But he's been amazing since then. Like, straight up. He just scored. It feels like he scores every other night. He's been awesome.
Back to Gripesville,
choo-choo, Polar Express to Gripesville.
Back to being upset about things.
Yes, please.
I don't think I've been mad at Berube like all season. In fact, most people who send me dumb Berube tweets, I usually just hammer that.
Blog.
Oh, hello, mute. Oh, hello, new muted person with a horrible Berube take. Goodbye forever. This was a bad Berube game. Like,
what did you hate the most?
Him mix up the lines. I was like, yeah, whatever, fine. He's trying to kind of find a spark, and it's whatever. Him deciding to leave Wool in net after the 5th goal.
Crazy.
Like, hey man, you're playing Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
And you are playing the goaltender that everybody's worried is going to play too much. You just called up Dennis Hildeby because you want to protect Matt Murray's waiver status, which totally makes sense. It's like 30 days in the NHL or 10 games, something like that, right? Where he gets to become non-waiver exempt again. Yeah. So they play the smart game. Tree Living does the smart cap move, brings Hildeby up. You got the kid out there. Let him eat the end of this hockey game. Why is Joe Wool still in there after the 5th goal? And then even like,
bring out the long man. Like, where's the, bring in some guy no one's ever heard of, like to pitch 4 innings, throw 110 pitches.
Dude, play with the empty net for the rest of the game. I don't care. Don't put Joe Wool in there when the team is playing completely quit hockey for his confidence. Like, he's only let in 4 goals since the very beginning of the season. I don't want him feeling bad about his game.
And right during the end of that like stretch there, they quit on a play and he goes sliding out of the net and like kind of loses his balance and like falls over a little bit. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, get him out of there.
I'm just saying, get ready for confirmation bias talk Monday if he doesn't look sharp. Like,
well, like, are you, you're going to be on a train to Christmasville. You're not going to care.
No, I'm not leaving the 23rd. I'm leaving the 24th. So I'll be watching that game.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good time for a PSA. Hey, Leafs Talk after this is on break. I like how we're giving you the total mail-in crapo version of Leafs Talk. It's like we're on break from here until the new year. So first game back in the new year we're doing, but then until then we're off. We're off. And for those of you that can complain, it's like we got people who produce this show who also don't want to be having to go into the office on through the holidays. So please just relax about it. Also, I love indignant chat like this. Lou St. Clair, are you two going to talk about Wool or not? Like, all right, bro, chill out.
Holy, it's Lou. Christmas, brother.
Yeah,
sweet Lou, you're killing me.
St. Clair, relax. Relax, St. Clair. Yeah, it wasn't a good game for Wool, but what do you want to say? The guy's been unbelievable all season long, and tonight was the first game since his very first performance where I thought that he had some bad goals. He bites on a fake, like trying to cheat a little bit across on the one goal where who was it that ripped it low blocker on him?
I'm not going to think of it. Was it Horvat?
Yeah. No. Yeah, it was Horvat. Yeah, that goal wasn't pretty. One of them gets tipped. Like, it's not like, what do you really want him to do? Another one's like on a rebound where it's a scramble after the McCabe pinch. Like, I didn't think that he was dreadful. I also don't think he was good. So I don't really have too much of a take on it.
No. I just thought, like the starting goalie who you're going to need to depend on can have an off night here and there when he's been excellent all year.
Yeah.
There's my take.
He should have mixed in, I thought, one more save, but out of the 5 that he let in.
His team totally quit on him the second he let in 2. So they just quit. They had 16 shots until 10 minutes left in the third period. You can't do a ton here.
Yeah, it was pretty much no show. What's next for you?
So I thought okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this after you yelled at me about the human interest story last night.
I liked Isaiah George too.
That was sick. Like he played for. Like, I'm pretty sure
I have it in the notes. So
played for the Marlboros. Pretty sure. Like, I think he played for the Marlboros. He's a dirty London Knight, of course. Won the championship with them last year. Don't like that, but good for him. That's awesome.
Yes.
That guy paid
I'm not a monster, bro.
Yeah, you are. The guy who makes $800K. Oh, yeah.
No, this was sick, dude. He's like, again, he brought 20 people to the game. He's from Oakville. He played for the Marlboros, and he rips a goal in his first game against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
First career goal against the Leafs. It's like he can never play another game. He's thrilled.
Yeah, dude. Everyone remembers it. Like every one of his family and friends. They're going to have a great night. No, I was stoked for him. Like, that was the back-breaking moment of the game, and I was still like, that's cool. Right on.
That was cool. Good for him.
Yeah.
Really good.
Hey, guess what? You know what I really love? Guys caring. And he cared deeply there. And I was like,
another quick one for me. I asked Show to clip this moment from the broadcast.
I'm glad you did, because I have thoughts.
It was Romanov. It's Romanov was warming up on the bench, and and then incredible camera work here.
Yeah,
pans over. Okay, so I gotta be careful here. Okay, because I know like lots of people listen to the Fan, a little older, and there's podcast listeners are a little older. Like I saw everybody being like, "Oh, Lou, like he's making sure so he doesn't like get like he's like mafia stuff. Like he's like, does he know where he is? Like that is the most confused face I've ever seen on a man. Ever.
That's the opposite.
Dude, he looks so confused.
No, disagree. My thought on this was like he looked so much like my grandpa watching me do anything he didn't like. Like if I showed up with long hair at Christmas, that's the look I got from Dave Whalen. Just staring me down, being like, "What the heck is this about?" Like, I think that he's just like curious about what that kid's warm up was.
He just was like, "I don't know what's going on here." That is one of the funniest shots I've ever seen. It's just
it's a great look. It's just an incredulous look. I just was like, "What's he thinking?"
What's he thinking? What's he thinking? He's like, "It's like, why am I still doing this? Like, it's Christmas season."
He guarantees he loves doing it.
I get it, but like at some point. He's like, how old is he? 83?
No, is Lou that old?
Dude, he's gotta be. I say 83 or 84. Gotta be that age. How you're Googling now?
Yeah, I am. I'm Googling.
Gotta be.
I'm taking the under on 83. He's 82.
82. How old's Belichick?
He's in his 70s.
Okay, like I do think there's like
year old or whatever.
Like 80 is, like God love the elderly people in my life, but like you're gonna run a professional hockey franchise, like that's old.
Hey, some dudes are sharp.
82 is old.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man.
Lou's still sharp. He's the general manager of the Islanders.
Yeah, and I really do think that some guys, they like part of the reason why this is gonna be me, man. I'm gonna be grinding until I'm 82 as well. I think like you stop, you lose it a little bit. You got to stay on the ball. You got to stay going. I'm with it.
That's fair. I get that.
Dude, it's 2024. 82 now is like 63. It's about to be 2025. These old dogs are aging in reverse.
Last thing I'll say is, I see him there and I'm like, God, I can't believe they got rid of him when they did.
Yeah, no, it sucks.
Like the Leafs getting rid of him.
Yeah.
At that point of like their stuff to give it to Dubas. So it's just like Shanahan has to live with that one forever.
So does everyone who is a Dubasite that watches this show. That was a strong disciple. And who's like, so it's
all the sites have contract. How about all the deals he signed to set them up perfectly? Like Freddie Anderson, Morgan Rielly, Nazem Kadri, like all these contracts, like the trade. Anyways, I don't need to get into it, but just seeing him standing there, I was like, God, why'd they do that? Like, sure wish they hadn't done that. Like, what if
right
Colorado
before
had
the contracts too? Like,
I know, right?
Insane time to do it.
What if Colorado had just taken Dubas? What a fascinating what if.
Oh man, would have been so great.
Fascinating what if.
Yeah,
we just would never had to have lived it.
Yeah, they would have extended Tyson Barrie, lifelong deal, lifelong deal. They were like, wow, I got to inherit these two superstars. Like, how much did you guys say you wanted? Yeah, whatever. Name your price. Just write it down on a sheet. Go. All right, I'm done. You got anything else?
Oh yeah, I did. Thought it was an impressive number. I wrote it down. 48 5-on-5 goals coming into tonight, and they let in 5 tonight. That's crazy. That's like 48 5-on-5 all year. Like, you do have to take a quick step back. Horrible game, right? That was a horrible, horrible performance, no question. But like, they have been pretty good defensively all year, and tonight was a bit of a blip on that. But 48 5-on-5 all year, and then 5 tonight is crazy.
Yeah, it is. That's really
crazy number. They said that on the broadcast. So, and Luke Swadron, is Luke Swadron like, what's going on here? Like, is he in the chat? Is he watching?
Luke is young and wears glasses, so he's hardcore Dubasite.
Luke says Lou looks like my grandparents when I try to explain my job.
Yeah. Luke's fire and takes. It's like, you wanted Engvall for 7 years. That's the lowest that Lou ever did, was trading for Engvall and then handing that contract. But
old
again,
man moment.
But also, there's no GMs that don't make bad moves. This has never been the argument. Oh God, I'm actually glad that you mentioned this about like bad arguments. It's like or bad signings. That's not the argument. Everybody has bad signings. Everybody has bad moments as GMs. Like you go through all the great ones, even have them. This reminds me of the Matthews thing, where it's like, so he's out for a little while, and I got a lot of people going like, "Now you want the detailed injury reports, man?" Blah 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 blah. It's like they didn't tell anybody about the injuries, and he got hurt. That's the point. Like it doesn't. Like the hiding it didn't matter at all.
I've been taking a beating in the mentions because yesterday I said that he shouldn't play, and then he played, and then he got even more hurt and is now probably going to be out. And everyone's like, "You were crying about him not playing. You were crying about him now that he is playing, you're crying." I'm like, no, I didn't know what he was going to look like when he came back.
Yeah.
And then I saw him come back, and then they missed a practice, and they said he's fighting through something. I said, probably shouldn't play against the Sabres in December. Plays against the Sabres in December. Somebody gives him a, classic cross check, just like nothing crazy to it.
Yeah,
right in the sweet
I don't know why people thought that was like a let the league look at it cross check.
God, he's digging away at the side of the net. The guy gave him a shot that happens 100 times a game. Every Leaf fan
say watch what
McKee
does.
Bingo. It's like like every Leaf fan's like, finally we got a guy that clears the front of the net, and then Matthews is digging away at the goalie, and somebody cross checks him. They're like, kick him off the tour. Like, give me a break. Like, you can't have it both ways.
I know. That was a wild one.
I think the Leafs really screwed it up. Playing him hurt against the Sabres. That's a huge mistake by the organization. It is. And
I mean, like, I can't refute. It's like he got hurt. So yeah.
No, but like even like playing him in that game, and like I can say it because I was saying before the game even started, they shouldn't have played him. Like I'm not often right about things. I do feel very right about this. They shouldn't have played him. He was hurt, and some guy got him right in the sweet spot. And now he's probably going to be out for another month. LTIR and spend the money.
No,
April 1st, baby.
Once they say day to day, it's over.
Oh boy, day to day, they got to fly him further into Europe. Fly him to Turkey.
Day to day, you might as well. Somebody better start putting together like the Matthews career highlight reel. It's like that's just run it because it's over if it's day to day. Anyways, we're day to day through Christmas. Again, we're off for the Monday game. Real Kipper and Warren got you for the post. And then I think there's a game on the 27th and the 29th and then the 1st.
I'm just pulling up their schedule here.
So I think it's 4 games off here for Leafs talk.
Our next game will be
the
3rd. Thursday the 2nd against the Islanders again.
Yay.
Yay.
Like I said, though, this is my favorite time of the year. I'm going to settle in, watch World Juniors, watch Leafs, have beers, get to just be a fan again. Oh, the best. Like
your boy Gavin McKenna is the 13th forward, even though he's the best player of the team.
He's going to be second line. He's going to be second line. If he's 13th forward, like I said, I'm gonna cheer for USA.
Well, I saw a bit of that I was flicking back and forth between that pre-tournament game and the Leafs game tonight. Canada's jerseys are putrid. Those black with the red stop reinventing the wheel. Just wear red and white. Like, what are we doing here? I don't mind a little black mixed in, but those jerseys are horrendous.
I agree. The black sweater has grown on me over the years. Like, I don't mind having it as a part of the uniform because I feel like it's kind of like the way that they've been like, all right, Switzerland, you can play hockey. Like, get on in here. You guys can have some red and white. Right, fine. So they've capitulated like good Canadians and bent the knee and added the color to the sweaters. But I don't like those ones either. But I'm so stoked for the juniors this year. Like I cannot wait. This is a throwback year where it's like they got a gritty team. It's deep. They got a goalie that matters and we care for the future. We got Gavin McKenna, like an uber star that's going to break out with the country who's young and people got to wait. Can't wait. Cannot wait for this. But if Gavin McKenna sits for even one game, I'm defecting and I'm telling him to defect as well. Like I'll be like, we're from Alaska, son. We play for Team USA. Matthew should play in the Four Nations after all. Anyway, for both of us, everybody have a happy holidays. Yeah. Everybody have a happy new year. We really do appreciate it as always. Be safe, have fun, and we'll talk to you in the new year.
All the best.